Hi, my name is Padgett, and I'm the founder of Redefining Sobriety. And I'm so excited because I'm doing this series of videos all about mindset shifts. And this video's topic is about 3 of my favorite words that come in super handy and also very powerfully when it comes to changing our beliefs about something. So, as I've talked about before, and you'll see in some of my other videos about mindset and about how we tend to predict the future based on the past, we often form very fixed beliefs about ourselves. And these beliefs, in a lot of ways, are intended to protect us from failure, from pain, from repeating another pattern again. And so we start to develop thinking along the lines of, well, I'll never change, or this always happens, or, I always mess up my plan or my intentions, or people always do this to me. And really, that form of thinking does come from a place of self-protection. However, it can be very, very limiting, because imagine if you tell yourself every single day that something is going to turn out a certain way, or that something is always going to happen, or that things never work out the way that you want them to. Then you're really creating the reality and looking for the evidence to affirm that belief. And I created a video all about looking for evidence. So you can also check out that video for more information about how this happens. So one of the techniques that I use a lot with my clients, and I try to use also in my own life as much as I can, I'm a student of this work as much as I am a teacher of it, is to start incorporating 3 words. Whenever you are thinking with some sort of fixed thinking, or you have a belief that seems very black and white, this is an invitation to put 3 little words in front of that belief or that statement. So if you are saying to yourself, this always happens, I always do this, I always let myself down, I never follow through, I always fail, if you find yourself in that sort of self-talk, the invitation is to include 3 words before that statement. Up until now. Up until now, this always happened. Up until now, I never followed through. Up until now, I always failed. Up until now, people always let me down. And I learned this from a friend and mentor, Maru Iavicella, who's the founder of a program called Infinite Receiving. And her whole program is really about how we limit ourselves and block ourselves off from receiving what we want in our lives. And this could be receiving anything. And so if you're here, chances are you want to be redefining your relationship to alcohol, changing your relationship to alcohol. And yet you might find yourself falling back into similar patterns or situations, or setting your intention and letting yourself down. And your brain is going to go very quickly to that place of, well, of course that happened, this always happens, I always do this. And so this practice does take time, and it's important to say that this alone, these 3 words alone, are not going to completely change your mindset. And there's a lot of work that needs to be happening simultaneous, which is why I have a whole video series specifically on this topic, and a lot of accompanying PDF worksheets so that you can really dive into this. But this is something that you actually can do with yourself on a daily basis whenever you start to think of fixed thinking, to just try to put those words and use it in conversations with your friends or with your partner or with whomever. Try to incorporate this as well into a conversation. Well, up until now, this kept happening. Up until now, this pattern seemed really present in my life. Up until now, I found it hard to commit to a morning routine. Up until now, I was experiencing a lot of resistance. So if there's anything, a good place to start is just to write a list of things that you feel like you're maybe repeating, things you're facing resistance around, that you might have a story around. And then as you write that list, put the words in front of it. Up until now. Up until now, I had a hard time committing to my morning routine. Up until now, it was challenging for me to stick to my intentions. Up until now, I didn't have the confidence in myself to be able to follow through or really make this change. And you'll start to notice a shift in your thinking about yourself. And you will also start to notice that it creates the opportunity for something, or even the possibility that things might be able to be different, that it doesn't always have to be like this, that you're not always going to do this, that, that maybe in the future you can start to do things differently. So you can start to notice this pattern, recognize it, identify it when it's coming up in conversations with other people, and invite in those 3 small words, up until now. And do it in your journaling practice, do it in your morning practice. Another way that you can also address this for yourself, it's just a really brief tapping exercise, and really it's just an affirmation statement. And so I'm not going to go through the whole tapping routine, but what you're going to do is you're just going to tap on the side of your hand on this karate chop point, and you're going to create a statement for yourself that's whatever that sort of fixed belief is that you felt like you had, but you're going to add up until now into it. So an example would be like this: even though up until now I believed that I wasn't really capable of making a change or a lasting change, I love and accept myself just the way I am. Even though up until now, or you can also say, even though in the past I had a pattern of doing things this certain way and it never really worked out for me, I love and accept myself anyways. Even though up until now I didn't really believe that change was possible, I love and accept myself anyways. So this is really important because it helps acknowledge that we do have these very strong beliefs about ourselves sometimes and about what's possible. And it's okay, they're there for a reason, they've kept us safe, they've protected us. But it's also, it's important to love and recognize that part of ourselves, but then also to acknowledge that like this doesn't have to carry forward. It actually can stop today. I can start to practice on a daily basis saying, this might have been what defined me before. This might have been my pattern before. This might have been what always happened before, but that was up until now. And from now on forward, I'm learning new tools. From now on forward, I'm not the same person. From now on forward, I'm committing to talk to myself differently, to invite in new thoughts, to make mindset shifts, to look for new evidence that change is possible. And as I mentioned, there's a number of videos in this series, so I'll put the links to those other videos and also the links to the PDFs and the workbooks and worksheets as well, so that you can check them out. And I look forward to continuing this conversation with you and seeing what kind of shifts you can make in your own life.